Hey, Battle Built here with another video, and today we're getting some more Season 6 Great League Go Battle League battles, and we're testing out our first Generation 6 Pokemon in some Go Battle League battles, and that Pokemon is going to be Diggersby. You know, that Pokemon contains a bit of mud. It is a ground and normal type, but you know, he's clearly getting down and dirty. He's Diggersby, he's covered in dirt with all that brown on him. He happens to be, like I said, a ground and normal type, and he's going to serve as a mini Groudon in Great League, because the moveset that it gets access to is Mud Shot, Fire Punch as a charge move, and Earthquake as a charge move. So it's an extremely bulky Pokemon. It is spammy. We're going to keep it in the back, and we're going to run it together with Abomasnow and Defense Deoxys, which is a pretty powerful core as it is, and we're going to test out Diggersby to see if you need it for Great League Go Battle League and to see how much play that it actually has. So if you're excited to see some Generation 6 Pokemon tested out in Go Battle League, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It seriously helps the channel a lot, and I really do appreciate when you guys do. And let's jump into these battles. Some important information to note about Diggersby: if you want to use it in the Great League, you need a near 100% IV on it, because Diggersby maxes out at 1509 when hitting level 40. So that's if you want to avoid using any XL candy. If you want to use XL candy, it's going to take you a while to max it out using Great League, but then you can get a pretty typical IV spread on it. I think around like the 0-15-15 works for it, because at level 50 it'll max out around 1700. But if you want to jump into these battles immediately with Diggersby and you don't have the patience to get the XL candy, similar to myself, you want a 14-15-15 as the IV. That is the most ideal. Essentially the PvP 100% IV for Diggersby in Great League, so definitely keep that in mind. And that's also why it ends up being such a bulky Pokemon, because of the fact that it maxes out near that Great League cap. Now, getting into this battle, I had a pretty poor lead, but honestly, overall, Diggersby beats Galarian Stunfisk, so that's a huge pro for it off the bat. My other two Pokemon can do damage to Galarian Stunfisk. What I was really trying to do was I was trying to catch a Rock Slide on my Defense Deoxys, and I got it the second time. I didn't get it the first time, so I had to play that matchup out a little bit longer than I had preferred to, but got the catch there. They decided to stay in for a bit, and then they swap into a Shadow Abomasnow, which is not exactly a great play for them here, just because of the fact that my counters are dealing super effective damage, and I'm going to get off some super effective Rock Slides. And they also took a little while to swap, which allowed me to build up some energy, which is going to be extremely crucial for me in this match. So I'm getting off the first Rock Slide. I overfarmed a bit because I knew I was going to have to shield a move regardless. That gets their last shield, and then I'm just hoping I can outpace them. But they end up going for their immediate charge move because they're not going to get to the Energy Ball. They're going for the Weather Ball here. It's not going to take me out. I will be able to get to this Rock Slide. I will be able to take out the Abomasnow. But now we're in a no shield situation. But the positive thing here, which seems like it would be positive, is I had Diggersby in the back, and it's a tank, and it's going to have a lot of opportunities to succeed, and I'm going to bring it in here to farm up the Galarian Stunfisk in this no-shield situation. We seem to have gotten a bit of lag there. It was hard to tell in that moment whether or not it was going to be lag. And then they come through with a Mantine. So there was a lot of Pokemon with energy that Diggersby could have beaten really well in this situation. This was not one of them. But we're going to try and play this out to the best of our abilities. They bubble. I make a mistake here. When I come in, I already had a Weather Ball built up. I wanted to go for Energy Ball, but both are neutral, and I end up having to take the Bubble Beam now, and this could be extremely crucial, me potentially losing this match, since I didn't throw the first Weather Ball immediately, and now it's been debuffed, which is extremely unfortunate. Thankfully, I will be able to get to another Weather Ball. I do overfarm again there. I'm really, tempting my fate here. It's like I'm asking to lose this match. But thankfully, Abomasnow is being able to clutch this, still able to do a bunch of damage. And we're going to find out right now, or not right this second, I'm going for a Fire Punch here, but in just a moment, just how tanky Diggersby really is in Great League. So it's a ground and normal type, and Mantine has access to Bubble Beam, which will be super effective, but they also have access to Ice Beam, which is going to be super effective. And it comes through here, and you see how much damage it did. It put me in the yellow. An Ice Beam like that typically puts Pokemon a lot lower. I have a good chunk of health left. The bubbles are not going to be able to bubble me down. A Bubble Beam would not take me out of this health, and I'm able to get off another Fire Punch. And you know what? Maybe Diggersby as a ground type can counter water flying types like Mantine. So, right off the bat, you get to see how tanky Diggersby is, and I really do love the fact that it has such great play against Galarian Stunfisk. It has great play against Bastiodon, resisting his moves. It has great play against Alolan Marowak, because the Bone Clubs would be neutral. Alolan Marowak technically has Fire Blast for it, but it's a normal type, so we double resist the Shadow Balls and Shadow Bones from Alolan Marowak. And Another Pokemon that Diggersby has pretty good play with, depending on movesets, that we're not going to see in this set, but I saw it in some practice battles, is Hypno, because the typical moveset on Hypno is Thunder Punch, Shadow Ball. Yes, people are running Focus Blast and Ice Punch, which would deal super effective damage to Diggersby, but most Hypnos are running Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball, and Diggersby double resist both of those. So just some positive matchups to look out for, and if you're building a team and you want to use Diggersby, keep in mind that those are the variety of Pokemon that it will perform best against. Now, when you look through the top 25 on PvPoke, it doesn't have a lot of wins, but what it's able to offset with some of those losses is just the fact that it's bulky and can stay in matches pretty long and get off and essentially spam Earthquakes because it has Mud Shot as a quick move, which is insane. So in this specific match, I thought I lost lead a lot harder than it was. That Mawile was running Ice Fang, so I immediately swapped into Defense Deoxys, and now we're at the point where I have my Abomasnow on Lantern. The reason why I didn't go into Diggersby there, even though I would have double resisted the Sparks and the Thunderbolts, is because of the fact that they also have access to Hydro Pump, and I didn't want to get rid of my shield yet. They bring in Mawile again to deal with my Abomasnow, and I prefer that because I definitely don't want Ice Fang Mawile going up against my Diggersby, and I'm going to go for this Weather Ball here, which, because the Mawile is so low, should be enough to take it out, which it is. So I tanked that Power Punch, which wasn't that bad, and now Primeape in the back is actually quite a problem, and fighting types were definitely an issue for this team if I couldn't line them up with Defense Deoxys. Thankfully, I got their last shield with that Weather Ball, and this Primeape, I think it definitely has access to Night Slash. I think its other move is Close Combat, so I call a bluff here when they go for that Night Slash, and I tank it pretty well. And just based on that, the counters, as much as they are slowly chipping away, Diggersby has eaten them. He's hungry, he's got the muscles, he could tank them. He's been working out in the gym, in the dirt, in the mud, getting his grind on. So he could tank all those counters, and I was able to get to this Earthquake, which is going to one-shot the Primeape from its remaining health, and allow me to clutch the end game of this match. But it did have some assistance from Abomasnow. That was an all-around team effort. It wasn't Diggersby doing anything out of the ordinary there. Also, just for some of you, in case you didn't know why I called Diggersby Mini Groudon, it's because of the moveset specifically. Groudon has access to that exact same moveset. Groudon just is a pure ground type, whereas Diggersby is ground and normal. Getting into this next match, Diggersby isn't going to have to do too much in this match. So my opponent's leading with Altaria, and they decide to just leave it in and let it die to Weather Ball. So I'm like, gee, thanks! I was wondering why they didn't swap, and it's because their Pokemon they bring in next to counter my Azumarill, counter my Abomasnow is an Azumarill, and I'm like, that's not exactly a counter for my Abomasnow, and they're going to throw a charge move here, and at this point I'm just like, you know what, Abomasnow's done enough, I don't need to shield this player off that comes through, I let it go through, just because I already have enough of an advantage. They definitely can't bubble me down without me getting to another Energy Ball, but I guess if I really wanted to be obnoxious, I could have been like, you know what, clearly don't have a counter for my Abomasnow, I should shield here and commit, and I take out their Azumarill, and we find out their last Pokemon is a Unova Stunfisk, which does not have great play against my Abomasnow either. So if I would have shielded there, and they would just let their Azumarill go down like this, Abomasnow probably could have swept, but I'm like, you know what, this is supposed to be a Diggersby feature, so we're going to bring in Diggersby here to just kind of finish off this match. You can see these Mud Shots chunking. I build all the way up to an Earthquake just because Earthquake would be super effective. Fire Punch because it doesn't get stabbed, and Diggersby is so tanky, I wasn't sure how much damage it was going to do, and it actually didn't even do enough to take out the Unova Stunfisk. My opponent saved all their shields, mostly because of the fact they saw an Abomasnow, and I'm assuming they just gave up at that point. So Diggersby didn't do too much there. Their team was not ready for Abomasnow, but let's see how the rest of these matches play out. So we got another Abomasnow on Galarian Stunfisk lead. The goal here is to land an Energy Ball and try and catch the second Rock Slide because I get outpaced on my Defense Deoxys. And then they swap into a Charizard, and they're dealing Fire Spins. They seem to be coming through quick. That's why for a second I almost stuttered and said they're doing Air Slash or Wing Attack, but they're doing Fire Spins, and I decided to call their big move, potentially Blast Burn. Ends up being an Overheat, and the fact that they threw that right away is great for me because one, I shielded it, and two, it debuffs the heck out of their attack, so any other moves they throw afterward are going to do less damage. And then they commit to their Charizard because these Rock Slides are going to one-shot it, and I need to get rid of this Charizard because Abomasnow most definitely doesn't want to see it, and Diggersby is not going to be able to deal great damage to the Charizard. The Earthquakes and the Mud Shots will be single resisted, but still I don't really want to throw those. And the Fire Punch would probably also be single resisted, right? Because Fire resists itself. Correct me on my typing if I'm wrong about that. Certain ones, especially in GBL where Fire types aren't very popular, it's kind of hard to keep track of like the lesser known like typing matchups. But regardless, they decide to swap out there, and I made sure I went out that situation with my Deoxys, so we don't have to worry about Diggersby on Charizard. And what you get to see here is a beautiful sight. Their Bastiodon being absolutely walled. They're walled so much by my Diggersby that I overfarmed and then went for the Earthquake. The Earthquake's going to one-shot. The Smackdowns I'm resisting. Their Stone Edge, if they threw it, would be resisted. Flamethrower doesn't get any stab, so it doesn't do any damage to me because Diggersby is such a tank. And then they come in with Galarian Stunfisk. So you want to see Diggersby put in work. You want to see what it's amazing for. My opponent here is running Muddy Water, which I guess this is the one time it would come in handy, but I shielded it regardless. I get to another Earthquake, and they didn't get, I think Muddy Water gives a debuff. They didn't get it. That Earthquake almost one-shots the Galarian Stunfisk. It unfortunately did not, and I wasn't able to Mud-Shot down. But they're going to go for another Muddy Water. Muddy Water's not a great move, and Diggersby is very tanky, so had no problem there. They're going to come in with the Charizard. I'm going to go for the Fire Punch, and Diggersby just swept almost their entire line. Destroyed the Galarian Stunfisk, absolutely walled Mr. Wallface Bastiodon, and then put the icing on the cake and finished off that Charizard with a Fire Punch. So, if you're sick of seeing Galarian Stunfisk and Bastiodon, as I know a lot of people are in Go Battle League, Diggersby is a great option for it. So, I'm really liking Diggersby. It's ranked like top 40, and if you can get a good like 0, 15, 15 type IV for Diggersby to max it out to level 50, according to PV Poke, it improves a lot. Like, it jumps from top 40 to like top 20, I think it's 16th. So I do highly recommend, if you want to try out Diggersby, get a high IV one, max out to level 40. You will lose some matchups versus level 50, but also go out there and grind catching your Bunnelbees. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the first form of Diggersby. Go out and grind, get those XL candies as much as you can. Go out and get the regular candies, just because it's going to be spawning a lot for this Kalos event, and I know I want to grind the heck out of it because I caught a really good IV to max out to level 50. Another one. Yes, I'm going to max out 2 Diggersby just because that's how much I like this Pokemon, just from this what's the word? Just from these beginning parts of testing. I don't know, I feel like there's another word for it, but regardless, that's not important. And we went up against another Altaria, and they committed to the 2-shield, which was insane. And then they bring in a Whiscash, so now I know why they committed to the 2-shield, because Abomasaw's just going to slaughter here. This part of the match is not much of a Diggersby feature, because in their last Pokemon's a Lantern, so that explains why they committed so hard to their Altaria, but this is not a good team comp. It just gets absolutely slaughtered and walled by Abomasnow here. But yes, I highly recommend getting, I recommend testing this as soon as you can, so get a high IV one, but also get a low IV one, or again, 0, 15, 15, so you can max it out to level 50, and when you acquire all the candies from this Kalos event, and grind Bunnelby really hard, so that you can then max that one out at some point too, because it being at level 50 allows it to win even more matchups, and Diggersby is definitely here to play in Great League Go Battle League battles. So as I was saying, Diggersby's level 50 ranking on PV Poke, I went back to double check just to confirm, and it actually gets as high as top 13 on those rankings and ratings. So I highly recommend investing in a Diggersby, and if you don't want to use it right away, find a good lower IV scale one where the attack is lower. Don't find the Hundo for level 40 or the near Hundo for level 40. Find the one with the really low attack for level 50 and invest for that for the future. I just highly recommend it, and as I checked through PV Poke, the main reason why its ranking goes up so much is because at level 50 it becomes even bulkier, and it wins the matchups that it would have won as a level 40, but now it wins them even harder than it won them before, essentially. So it becomes an even bigger wall, and you saw how tanky it was there, so just imagine that Pokemon even tankier. I highly recommend it in the closing position because of the fact that it doesn't really need shields, so if you end up in a no shielding situation, it can land Earthquakes pretty quickly. It has that Fire Punch for just for some variety to give it some additional coverage, but I think it's going to be a player in Great League battles this season. I highly recommend it. I can't wait to test out more Generation 6 Pokemon that are going to have play. I know some YouTubers already jumped on Chestnut, and I unfortunately was not able to catch one. Not yet, but I will be testing that as soon as I get a chance to. And honestly, there are some ones that don't look like they have much play that I definitely want to test and give you the content on if that's the stuff you guys want to see. Because to power this thing up, I invested a lot. I invested over 200 rare candies because I got the 15, 10, 15. Like, mine's not even the most ideal IVs. I didn't even talk about that in the beginning because I wanted to just show you guys the battles ASAP. But it's like a 15, 10, 15, which was like top, like it was like a rank 39 for Great League, which I was like, you know, this is good enough. So I maxed it out immediately, and I hadn't caught that many Bumblebees at that point. I just had a stash of rare candies. I wanted to bring you guys a content, and I'm so happy I did because I'm in love with using this Pokemon. Also, one slight thing, this team comp I think is a very good team comp for it, but it's double weak to fighting, so I highly recommend if you want to test out Diggersby, use Skarmory instead of Abomasnow in the lead, even though Abomasnow put in work in that set. I just highly recommend it because if you start running the fighter leads, you're double weak to fighting. So you don't want to sacrifice a Pokemon there and like stay in with Abomasnow because of the fact you're going up against a fighter. Use Skarmory so you're only single weak to fighting because Diggersby has that normal typing. So on that note, let me know your thoughts on Diggersby. Let me know your thoughts on the battles. I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it. I'm excited. I'm just staying excited about Season 6. This grind to rank 24 has been great, and I'm going to continue to bring you the spice, and I'm going to continue to find go-to teams because I do believe that Skarmory, Deoxys, Diggersby team could be a go-to team that you can have success with in Great League battles. So hopefully I'll bring you guys that video too. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.